Sean Zattel here, joined with the former unified super featherweight champion of the world and the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world, Mikalea Mayer. Got a bad blood rematch here in Vegas, March 29th on ESPN, Sandy Ryan Part 2. And Mikaela, let's get right to it. How do you win the first fight by majority decision? How do you win fight number two more decisive fashion? Turn that majority decision to a unanimous.
Um, I I've been working since that fight with Kofi. I'd only been with Kofi for about 3 months going into that fight. So there's only so much you can learn. I think that he taught me a lot, but like we've gotten a lot together. And um I've rewatched the fight. I know what worked. I know what I could have done better. And I'm a smart fighter. I think this fight's going to be a lot about who has a higher IQ because we know each other now. I've been in there for 10 rounds together. And so it's going to be who can adjust better. And I just believe I'm the smarter fighter and I got the smarter team. And I'm going to go in there. I'm just going to kick her ass even better, even clearer.
Well, fight number one was a war pretty much, and but your versatility helped you win that fight. Are you saying fight number two will be more tactical than fight number one? And how important is your versatility again this time?
Well, I think you nailed that. I am a lot more versatile than Sandy. I don't really think that Sandy's going to switch up all that much. She likes to sit on her shots and she likes to come forward and fight on the inside and she wants to try and impose her size on. But I've settled into my welterweight body now. I'm not the same fighter that I was in that first fight. I promise you guys. So I know what worked. I think that I had a really good game plan, and she lost the first half of that fight with me boxing. But I can bang it out on the inside too. I know you guys all know that. So just little tweaks when it comes to strategy and make sure we do it better.
For a fighter in her position, the motivation's obvious, like the extra fuel in the tank. You want revenge, you lost your title. What's the extras what's the extra fuel for you, extra motivation for you heading into fight two?
Well, I mean, I've been in the same position. It took me 2 years to get back in position and get my belt back. And I don't want to go through that again. It's hard enough to come back in boxing. It's a very unforgiving sport. A lot of people counted me out, didn't think that I'd be back here. I knew I would. But to do it again would definitely change the trajectory of my career. And I want to make sure I finish on top. What probably only have about 3 years left in the sport. And there's a lot of big fights that I want to get and a lot of money that I want to make. And in order to do that, I need to hold on to this belt. And I wanted to go undisputed at lightweight and I fell short. And this is my chance to go into welterweight. I get through Sandy Ryan one time and Lauren Price is waiting for me at the end of the year for all the belts. So there's my motivation.
Yeah, you got it all. You got it all mapped up. That Lauren Price fight would be for undisputed. Just to fast forward to Lauren Price for a second, because you
Mhm.
brought her up. In a fight against you, it's conceivable she'd be the favorite because she's a couple years younger. She won the gold medal. She's been at
Yeah.
this weight from the get-go. She didn't move up from 30. Why
Yeah.
why why would you beat her though, despite all that?
I think that maybe she would be the favorite on paper, maybe, but I don't pay attention to that stuff anyway. I mean, I think me and Sandy are like tied right now, and I know I'm gonna kick her ass, so it doesn't get to me. I know I trust in my camp and trust in the process. But again, I've been in the ring with a lot of good fighters, and I've had to make a lot of adjustments in my career. I've had to make a lot of changes in my camp, and I've learned a lot along the way. And I still don't think that Lauren Price hasn't had those experiences yet. And so I have that on her. She's gonna go in there and she's gonna be Lauren Price. But even at 34, I'm getting better every day. Again, the new addition to my team, and I just don't think that she's gonna be able. You can't prepare for what you've seen in the past. She's gonna get a whole new Mikalea Mayer, and she's gonna get a strong one. And yeah, when that time comes, we'll have a good strategy. We always do, and a good game plan, and we'll go in there and take her belts. But first, I gotta, focus on getting through Sandy one more time.
Would you I mean you've done it before in big fights. Would you be willing to go to UK to make the fight happen?
I think that I are on the B side in this fight, considering she has three belts and I would have one. So might not be able to avoid going over to the UK, but 100% not going to Wales. She talks about wanting to go undisputed in her hometown. And, I've jumped over to the other side of the pond several times and haven't gotten I haven't gotten the nod, and um, when a lot of people believe I should have. So I am a smarter fighter. I have to make sure that I put myself in the best position. Um, but I'll do what I got to do, and if the money's right, then I'll go.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, right? Not Wales, but I'll fight you in the UK, just
Yeah,
not Cairns. Yeah,
somewhat
yeah,
neutral. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When you talk about wanting to fight 3 more years, and you seem to have these fights mapped out, you have a big vision that to achieve beyond it.
Mhm.
What do you think of when you consider being a great fighter? You've won 3 titles in 2 divisions. Do you have to do more to truly, in your heart, be a great fighter? Like beating Lauren Price to become undisputed at 47? Like how much do you even care and think about that?
I mean, I think I've definitely already solidified myself as a great fighter. There's a handful of women and handful of names in this era that you're going to remember, and I'm definitely going to be one of them. Um, but I think that where I'll be remembered is I always challenged myself and I always took on the biggest and best fights possible. And my perfect one, my perfect, definitely one, how to come back 2 years later, become champion again. So to go undisputed at welterweight would definitely solidify that. But no fight can make or break me and what I've done in my legacy. So no matter what happens, I'm going to go on and continue to make these big fights. And because of the weight division that I'm in, and because of the way the women are just such gangsters are going anywhere to make this possible, I know there's still a lot of big fights there for me. And yeah, just going to take it one at a time, but not going to hang it up until I'm ready. I still got a lot of fight left in me.
And but back to Sandy Ryan for a minute. There was a time right after the fight she kept saying about the investigation, basically hinting like the investigation over the paint stuff will reveal something. And we still haven't heard anything come out of it. Did you ever get any calls from like a legal team? Like, did you ever hear it? Did it ever? Yeah.
No, I mean she wanted to point the finger at me because that was the easiest thing to do at the time. But I had nothing to do with that. And anyone who knows me or my team knows that they would never even allow me to have something to do with that. It's not my style at all. It was a chance for me to get my belt back around my waist. I would not want to jeopardize that opportunity in any way. To kind of hype the fight. So this is entertainment at the end of the day. It is what it is. The footage didn't show much. Just a guy walked up to her and threw paint on her leg. So I think she knows now that I had nothing to do with it. If you watch the interview with me and Ariel Hawani, she admitted that, like, I don't know who did it. I don't know who did it. So I think she kind of fell off that whole hype train that it was Mayer's team, and she kind of came to the conclusion that, we don't know who it was, and it wasn't me. But I don't know. It's in the past now. So hopefully this fight, nothing crazy happens. Boxing fans are crazy. In my mind, I just think it's some crazy boxing fan or her team. Now I feel about the way her team responded after that. I don't think the paint is what threw her off her game, right? And messed her up in the head. It was her team that freaked her out and started yelling at her to pull, all hyped up about, your team is supposed to be calm and cool. And like I said in my tweet, I would have slapped that paint on the ass of my shorts and walked in there and kicked her ass. Like I would have used it as fuel. But not everyone's as strong minded as me. And I think that's where she kind of messed up. She showed her weakness a lot in that buildup.
I know, time with you is limited right now as you're doing the interview. So I'm gonna have to combine a couple questions here.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
what do you think of, the promotion kind of using that paint stuff to promote the rematch? What do you think of the fact that with the rumors about ESPN and boxing and Top Rank right now, this could be your last appearance on ESPN or even like US network? Because if you fight on DAZN, that's not technically an American network. And then lastly, what do you think of Dana and Turkey starting up their league? What does that mean for women's boxing? Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I know I threw three at you, but
What was the first one?
the first one was, that the promotion using the paint
Oh,
stuff
the promotion.
to promote
I
the
was
rematch. Yeah.
I was actually really taken back when they posted that flyer and announced the fight. I was like, oh my God, they put paint. They put red paint over Sandy, pink paint over me. Um, but at the end of the day, like again, this is entertainment. So their marketing team was just doing what they had to do to build this rematch. And and sell the fight. So it didn't come from me, and I can't control that. I can't control, again, with Turkey. I can't really control what he's going to do with allowing the women in the system. But I think he's done a good job with revamping the Ring magazine. I think he's doing a great job putting on big fights that everyone wants to see. So if he includes women in that eventually, then that'd be great. I think he will eventually, and I think he'll be intrigued by big matchups, right? Maybe like me versus Baumgartner 2, or me versus Clarissa Shields at 54, like certain fights that would really intrigue him. I think eventually, but we'll see. Again, I can't control that. Can't control whether Top Rank stays with ESPN or not. I'm just grateful that I've had 7 years with Top Rank on ESPN, even though 2 of those years I was spent fighting in the UK, but still, yeah, I'm just gonna milk it until, we do something else. I know that Top Rank knows what they're doing, Bob Arum. They've been in this game a long time, so they're gonna find another way. They're gonna find an outlet for us, and I'll fight where they put me.
Sounds like the hit list is Ryan, Price, Baumgartner, and Shields. Am I wrong? That's what I got.
I mean, that's what's been in the loop. I think that right now I'm really focused on this rematch with Sandy, and obviously the next fight that makes sense would be fighting Lauren Price for undisputed, finishing what I started. I always wanted to go undisputed. This is my chance. I'm back in position to do that. So, but then the other big names, we'll get back to the drawing board after this year and come up with new goals and new big fights, because I'm always chasing the biggest fights. And if Baumgartner's game and Shields' game, and we can all work together to make things happen, then we'll do it.
Last